fishing right by Haystack Rock. We have good crabbing here. We run out, go tuna fishing not too far out in the middle of the summer. And these are the type of boats that work best here. They're flat bottom and they go fast and they control easy and steer easy, and they're just basically these boats were invented for this location. But you know what? We found out these boats work in a lot of other places. Some of you may have heard of a place up in Alaska called the Bering Sea, and we have several boats up there that halibut fish out of there. They're a little bigger, longer than this one, but they work good there too in that real rough ocean there. So, and we built quite a few of these. This boat here was number 60 when I built it 11 years ago, and this past winter, just finishing up, I built boat number 80, and a little different than this. I build my own different than I build anybody else's. I like to experiment with myself and my own boat. So we used all wood building the boat, even though there's a finish on the side. And it's all Douglas fir. Some of you know what different names of trees are. Douglas fir is a light wood, floats good, and is rot resistant. This is a sample of one of our boat parts here. This is a bow stem. Very important part. That's where we start putting a boat together, is with a piece of wood. And this piece of wood is cut out a special way. It's not just as it looks. In the middle here it's 90 degrees, it's less than 90 degrees here, and it's flatter up here. And we put a boat that gives it the shape of the boat to start with. And then the plywood that's on the side up here is, I got some samples of it. There's one back there, and there's a couple of pieces here. You cannot buy plywood that long. You can only get it 8 feet long. So I have a special machine that cuts the plywood on the end. Looks like that. You can see how it's all tapered. And then you glue another piece upside down on that. And when you glue it together, it'll look like this. And I'll pass these around. You see glue here on that side and a little bit of glue on that side, right there. And if you look real easy, you can see the line right across it. And that's as strong as the rest of the plywood. So you can get that other piece and pass it around if you want, kids. And look at the edge of it. And I make the sheet 24 feet long, and I can make it as long as I want that way. This plywood, you cannot buy it in a store anywhere. I have a plywood mill that actually peels the log, dries the pieces of wood, and they make this for me on special order now. Used to be you could buy it anywhere you bought plywood, but nobody builds wood boats anymore, so they quit making it, except us. And so when I called the sawmill up, I said, I need a bunch of plywood. They make quite a little bit. They have to change the whole sawmill over, the plywood mill, and they make a big stack about that high for me. It costs several $1,000s, and they make it the way I want it. So it's the only way you can do it now. Other than that, you have to get a fiberglass boat or aluminum boat or something else. And there's some friends of mine that build boats, and they come buy it from me, or I order it for them. So it works pretty good. We help each other out. Once in a while, you'll find somebody says, I'd like to build my own wood boat. And so they'll buy a set of plans, which you can still do. Not from us. I don't have plans for sale. So I have some drawings and some dimensions and things, but a lot of what I do is just up here in the upper story yet. We get the sides cut out the shape we want, and you can see the ribs down here. Like I told the other class, everybody has ribs that hold their body in the shape here. The boat has the same thing. It holds the boat in shape and makes it stiff and rigid, just like your body, and so we call them ribs. Other people call them frames. You know, the high-tech name is those are wood frames. To us, they're ribs. And so we build a whole set of them. It takes 14 of them in one of these boats to make it stiff and strong. And then we'll have them all put together. And what we'll do, we'll take a Saturday or a day, and I'll get my daughter or granddaughter or somebody, and we'll start putting glue on them, and we'll put the bow stem in, and the sides will be out like this. And we bend the sides around and do just like here. We'll sit the front end up on sawhorses, and that's the shape of the boat. So I buy my plywood. It comes in 4 by 8 sheets. That's 4 feet by 8 feet. And the unique thing about this plywood is it's 3/8 of an inch thick, and you can't buy it on the market anymore. I have it custom made by a plywood mill, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers to it. And it's very strong, and it bends just right.
Can you explain to the kids how they get the boats in and out while this boat's leaving?
Okay, yeah, the boat is launching here. Yeah, to change their tension a little bit. Watching they back up and it rolls off of the trailer. We got usually 3 or 4 or 5 rollers.
You gotta punch it.
Yeah, and you back up, you hit the brakes, and the boat's supposed to self-launch, stern first.
You have to wait for a certain wave or a certain
No, you just don't want to launch when the water comes way up, because you dump the boat off, the wave goes out, and you're sitting on the bare sand. That's another thing you don't want to do. It's a learning curve. We had one new dory owner down this morning. After a half an hour, he started here, he ended up down there, just about drowned everybody, loaded the boat up and went home. He never went fishing this morning. First trip for him, and he didn't make it. So I'm assuming he hadn't been out with anybody else either. When you buy a dory, you don't get the experience with it. You have to earn that. You get it the hard way. Money don't count in this case.
So the bottom of the boat is made for this type of engine?
The bottom of the boat is always flat. And the reason is you can turn the boat around. It doesn't try to dig into the sand. There it goes. And then this red and gray one, when it goes out, you find he has to correct it sometimes in the breakers. And if you have a V-bottom boat, you cannot correct your direction as fast as you can with a flat-bottom boat. It'll just scoot on itself. And that's very critical. When I started doing this dory fishing back in the 40s with my dad, we had a boat with a point on both ends. We put it in the water. 2 sets of oars come out. We rode out just about where Haystack Rock is. And then if we're going to fish all day, we put a little small motor in a little well, a little hole in the boat, and then fish. And then we have to roll back ashore. And that's where you learn to watch the breakers real careful. And you watch him go out down there. He's doing pretty good. Yeah, he'll be okay. Got one wave that's going to get a little fuzzy ahead of him now, but you have the dories coming and going anytime the ocean is flat enough to get out. Most of the week it's been too rough. Today's the first day in several days you can get out of here. And it's always off the beach. There's no harbor here, as you can see. It's just strictly beach launch and beach retreat. They're going out and fish. Some of them will go crabbing also. Now, like us, we have our crab traps set way down the coast here. We go out, we go run our crab traps, come back, and then fish till we're tired of fishing or get our limit. So, now if you watch the surf, see, if you're going out now, you'd probably get wet. So that's where you learn to watch it and wait for bigger waves to come in. They made the longest sheet of plywood in the world. It was like 200 and some feet long. They just kept making it, and they had about 50, 60 guys pick it up and carry it and put it on a railroad flat car. They took it from the mill into the town of Tillamook, and they displayed it at the fairgrounds for a couple of years. The world's longest sheet of plywood. And they could bend that right around and make loops out of it and everything. It won't break. So
how thick?
It was about ½ inch. Yeah. It makes the boat float. Water can't come in. That's a good idea. Yeah, everything in here is heavy, but the boat floats because wood is lighter than water, and so water can't get in and the boat floats. By having all the ribs cut out, all shaped, which is 14 of them, the bow stem cut out, the back cut out, everything ready, mix the glue, my daughter and I, or my granddaughter and I, we can put one of these together in 3.5 hours. That doesn't have these pieces, the longitudinal or the bottom on it, but you'll have a boat looking at you just like that if it had all the ribs in it. So one person works inside with a hunk of iron, and the reason to use this is like hammered from both sides. We don't use screws in a boat, we use special nails. I brought some samples. And if you want to, each of you can take one nail home to show mom and dad They're a special nail with ridges on them. They're called ring shank nails or annular ring. And you can't pick them up with a magnet because they're stainless steel. So, and when you drive them in with this on the backside, driving the nail in, it sucks the wood together and it holds like a screw, but it drives like a nail. And I have a factory that builds them for me in Baltimore, Maryland, and you can't buy them just off the shelf anywhere, that particular style. You can buy similar nails, but these are the best you can get, and I decide if I'm going to do it, I'll use the best you can get. So, I've got a question for the kids here. We build the sides of the boat out of this material here, 3/8 plywood. The bottom of the boat is thicker than that. What I do on the bottom, I put 2 layers of 3/8 together like this, and they're glued together the shape of the bottom of the boat. So if I put 2 layers of 3/8 plywood on, how thick will it be? Can anybody tell me that's in school? What? 3/8 and 3/8. 6/8. And that reduces down to 3/4. Good job. I like that. He knows how to do his math. Because I have to know all that stuff, see? And so, if I pull my measure tape out and I measure something and I want to put a marking exactly in the middle, I got to think a little bit. So 3/4 inch thick is how thick the bottoms are. Now watch here as the dory coming in. If he does it right, you'll see him slide way up on the beach. See, he's out of the water, the motor's flying. See, he just keeps coming.
You kill the motor, there's no brakes.
Yeah, there's no brakes, you can't steer, you're just coasting. No. Well, we're going to show you a demonstration how we put a rib in over here. My daughter's going to jump in and I'll show you what we do. It's a regular dory, but you build them all the same way. And she ice is on the inside. Wherever wood touches wood, we put epoxy glue. And that holds things together, and moisture can't get in her and rot. So she will hold like that backer block against here, and I will get out here and I'll drive a nail. And once you just hold right up
against. For a big boat, I can't see over the side.
No, because it's way up high here.
I have to know where he's going to put it and already be there.
And I'll drive the nails in, and she's holding it. See how good that sounds? Now move it down just a little. And that's how the nails go in, and it pulls the wood together. Now take that away. See, now if I try to drive a nail, it'll bounce and it will not pull the boat together. And you'll have cracks and holes in it. You can't do that. You got to have a boat watertight and waterproof when you get done. And everything in a boat, you hold an iron on the backside and you drive a nail from the other side. Some places without her help, I'm out here stretching, holding it, trying to drive a nail here. Or I drive nails with my left hand too, because that's what you got to do sometimes. Yeah.
Can we touch the block around?
So wait, as long as you don't drop it on your toes.
Yeah, you can hold it. We have a whole bunch of them. Some are big around and little thin ones. Some are big square ones that weigh 3 times as much as that. We tried lead weights one time, and guess what? Lead is like a pencil. You put it in a boat, you hammer the nail, and you have a big black mark where you have lead. You make stinkers out. And you can actually write with lead on wood. So we went to iron weights, and everything in the boat gets backed up with that. How many different kinds? Close to 10 kinds. Not all the same day though. Because sometimes pulling a crab pot, I'll get a big wolf eel in there, be that long. Big old head on it, and be about that long. That's the best eating fish in the ocean. What I think, yeah. They taste like fried crab.
Well, we didn't know that at first, and my mom said to him, "You eat it. If you're not dead in 20 minutes, I'll feed it to the kids." And it turned out to be really good.
It's the best.
Really.
It's a white fish, yeah. And you get a fillet about that wide, you get a fillet that long off of a good wolf eel. Delicious. Don't ever throw one of them away. You get a chance. No. The only time you can catch them is with a crab trap around the rock somewhere. I haven't had one in many, many years. In this boat we caught salmon of all kinds, silvers and chinook. We don't catch very many of those. We catch albacore tuna, and that's when 15 miles and on out. In the summertime you catch albacore tuna, but most of the time we're fishing, we catch bottom fish, which are lingcod, and rockfish and crab. Yes, sir. But fish like to eat fish, so if you got a lure that looks like a fish, you'll catch a fish. I have all kinds of electric tools because it goes faster. When my dad and I first started building dories back in the 60s and the 70s, we had hand tools. It took forever. And so I got some now. You pull a trigger on it, power planers, power sanders, routers, table saws, radio wires. Doors is 7 feet long, and they fit good for a dory.
Get them in there. The other one, you're going to do this. Everything you got.
Yeah.
And then you're going to wash back.
If the motor breaks down, you're stuck with the oars, and that's why you have to
It's the only way you can get home.
But you know, I would think everybody should have them once, because it's not always somebody else there to tell you, especially if you're commercial. Sometimes we're the only boat.
Dominic?
The car takes 45 minutes to get here on an emergency, and a helicopter 45 minutes. Yeah, I'm going to stick together.
Oh, there's been a lot of rescue. In the old days when we went out with boats with a point on both ends rolling, there's movies of people going, trying to come in, the wave catching, and just go right over backwards because you're not coming in fast. Real slow with oars. And dories have rescued people, and motors broke down. We have no Coast Guard here to go rescue someone. We rescue each other. And I've done it myself. I went out, see a boat getting in almost to the surf, way down there, big surf, and I got somebody to help me jump and launch in, go down, and get a rope to them, pull them out around, bring them in up here. We have a lot of experiences here. We wanted to see how many kids can be in a dory. We found out. How many was it? 24 can get in a dory. That's when we put the life jackets. When I fished years ago with my daughters, they would crawl underneath there and take a nap.
We wondered
right in the middle of the day.
We wondered if that's where the life jackets.
That's where all the life jackets are, and the life-saving devices, the tow ropes, anything emergency except the fire extinguisher. We keep it out in the open. But the life jackets, you can get them real easy. If your kids will notice there's a little magic black button right here, you don't push it until I get out of here. Push it. That's the surfer warning. Yeah, go ahead and press. You gotta blow that when you come ashore so people don't get in your way. But you know what? They don't get out of your way, they just look at you. Figure out what you're doing. I'll get out of the way. I didn't recognize the person.
Isn't every day good fortune comes away, and this is why we especially want to say to you, thank you very, very, very much. Da-da-da-da. Thank you.
Oh, okay. You bet. Okay. So you guys are going to go look at animals now, are you? Oh boy. Hey, you betcha. Here you go. You betcha. Right here.
I've changed. Hope it's not too far back. Believing such a simple boy. I should have known you. Look out to sea.
And if you're coming in through the surfers, you honk the horn at them.